The current season in World of Tanks console is come to an end, or at least it's coming to an end, and let's talk about seasons in general, how you felt about them, and of course discuss what the potential next season may be in World of Tanks, and the sort of things that you can expect from seasons, how to take advantage of them, the good, the bad, the kind of intermediate, let's talk about everything. Get your opinions as well, and I look forward to seeing them in the comment section down below. So without further ado, what do we have to talk about first? Well, let's talk about the main thing of the seasons, which is that you do get some benefits. There are loads of rewards that you can get from the season, and let's talk first about the premium tank rewards that you can get from this season. So premium tanks. They're a thing most people, when you first start the game, that's kind of the first thing that you typically go to buy after buying premium time. So you're kind of looking to get a decent premium tank. Now, granted, most of the season pass tanks that you can pick up are usually pretty mediocre most of the time, unless they're a new kind of Cold War vehicle or a World War II vehicle that hasn't yet been tested. But all of the additional premium tanks that are available in World of Tanks are usually okay, but they're not necessarily that overpowered. But one thing that I've been concerned about with the release of these premium tanks and all of the various different tanks that we've got is that they're usually one-sided between the seasons. So for example, you might have one season where all of the rewards, typically, except maybe one tank, are World War II. Then the next season you get a ton of premium tanks that are then Cold War only. And most recently in the last couple of seasons it's been primarily Cold War vehicles, especially as the tier 100 reward. Granted that there are 100 tiers in the season pass, and there are some additional benefits that we'll talk about in a little bit and why I like those after completing the 100 tiers. But what else can you get from the season pass other than those tanks and other than the problems that have kind of been generated by being given kind of set tanks? It's fantastic that you do get them, and of course they are free essentially because you pay 2,000 gold to be able to get the season pass, and if you get to those tanks by the time that you completed it and you've paid the 2,000 gold, you will have recouped just the pure gold value all on back onto your account, plus a ton more gold as well, plus a ton of key cards, plus some premium tanks, and effectively you've made gold. So it's not really cost you anything other than the initial purchase of 2,000 gold, should you wish to have done that in the first place. So one of the best things that you can purchase, the season pass on World of Tanks, and I highly recommend, if you are playing World of Tanks console any length of time really, I would purchase the season pass. I mean, even if you didn't manage to get to tier 100, which is like super easy when it comes to the later kind of half of the season pass where you've got so many challenges, and when you have events like String Theory that give you more XP, which mean that then you can get more kind of benefits from it, then yeah, it's absolutely outrageous how much XP that you can get from these events, and therefore more points per game, which means that you grind through the season pass levels super quick. So these are the sort of things that I always enjoy from World of Tanks console, and it keeps me definitely playing the game up until the point I reach rank 100, and that is where we first come into some problems. So what are those problems? Well, the first thing that I always find after having completed the season is that there's not usually a whole lot going on after that, and I would love to see some more content come into the game that is centered around being able to play, being able to enjoy the various different aspects of World of Tanks console, whilst also then getting some challenges, some events that are more exclusive to people that maybe have completed the rank 100. I know that when you go above and beyond rank 100 and you reach rank 125, you can get plus 25% silver on every game that you play. You can also get plus 25% silver on plus 25% XP on every game, and you can get plus 25% more commander XP on every game. But other than just like the XP rewards, which, yeah, they're great, they don't necessarily mean that you grind out any more in the game, and they don't really offer you anything other than just speeding up your gameplay. It's not like it gives you any enjoyment, really. It just makes you play less games on to be able to get to the same point, which is good. It's fantastic. I wouldn't want them to remove it, but I definitely think that there could be a lot more opportunity for Wargaming to develop some interesting challenges, even if they just give us a challenge that rewards us with some specific, like, I don't know, emblem that's actually cool, not like some random thing that looks like they've taken 5 minutes on Photoshop. But I mean, an actual kind of cool cosmetic item would be good, or just give us like a ton of boosts or something, or just like something to work towards that's more like exclusive to just the season, limited time kind of content that will only be available for people that have ground out these kind of events and challenges. And obviously that makes people want to play the game a lot more. It gives you something to focus on, even outside of actual gameplay, that I feel kind of will help people want to play the game a little bit more. And I highly recommend that Wargaming kind of focus on providing us with these sorts of events, because I think that they really underrate how much events like this can really benefit the game and drive people to play it. You've seen it with events like the Scorpion G one that's gone on right now, where people have to play a ton of games to be able to pick up a free premium. Similar sort of thing, but just make it super easy, well, not super easy to do, but kind of super easy for themselves by just making them more like cosmetics, where they only have to create a camo, for example, or some tier 10 camos that you can get for free if you just play extra or complete these challenges. I think that would be way better, but we'll have to wait and see as to whether they do that or not. It's just an idea, at least from me, and regarding the season passes. So the next thing about the next season is, what would you guys like to see them focus on in terms of the development of the game and what follows with every single season? Because usually we have a topic or a theme of every season, and you'll actually see some info on the next season coming out next week as of the recording of this video, in a video coming tomorrow, I expect, when they drop some news. I think that they're going to. It's not confirmed, it's just what usually happens. So we'll cover all of that news for the next season. But I'm interested to see what your guys' opinions on what you would like the seasons to be, because in the past, yes, we've had things like Hot Wheels, we've had various different other ones, and I kind of would be interested to see what topics or what areas you'd like Wargaming to potentially partner with or focus on, or maybe they go for a specific kind of nation. It'd be interesting to see, like, if they were to, I don't know, pick a British season or something like that, where they've already done a similar sort of one, which is where the whole British tech tree line came in Cold War, which was nice. So maybe if they focus on some of that stuff, and where it's all kind of centered around one specific nation, but also remembering that there are other nations in the game at the same time, so just getting a good balance. But yeah, giving some highlight to certain different ones would be good. And of course, this is only my opinions. My opinions aren't always right. I completely agree. I like the fact that people have differences in opinions. It makes the game that we play better, because maybe my ideas suck. And so if I was the one in charge, they might end up sucking for like 99% of people. So of course your opinion may completely differ, and that is good. And it's always the best when we get a whole collaborative effort in what we think. So what else do we get from the season passes, and what other things do Wargaming need to focus on during the seasons? I feel like a lot of the content is typically centered around Cold War, which I can kind of see from Wargaming's end, is that it's the brand new mode, there's tons of tanks that they can get out, they're super easy content to actually make, because they've got a load of tanks that they already have in the game. They just recreate them slightly using existing models, then just put them into the Cold War game mode, and it's a brand new tech tree. But the thing that I'm also missing is that there doesn't seem to be any real development. All of the tech tree lines in World War II seem to be getting just pushed back and back and back and back and back, and I just don't think that we're going to get any tank line for at least like another 4 months. Wargaming have confirmed that we will not be seeing another World War II tech tree until next year, or the early next year, so whenever that actually means, that could be the first 3 months, so we could be potentially waiting 6 months before we get a new tech tree. And it's been a long time already since we have had a brand new tech tree in Cold War, in World War II even, and just like every couple of months we get a new tech tree in Cold War. So yeah, it's interesting. And of course, that kind of leads into the conversation of the balance of the season pass, like we've talked about earlier, and more importantly, the development within the game tied to the season. Because Wargaming have typically picked one type of season that benefits the one particular game mode, and I just don't think that should necessarily be the case. I think it should be a holistic game experience rather than just being like centered on one specific game mode. It just doesn't play very well. It doesn't feel easy for new players to kind of jump in and understand why there is 2 different game modes, considering it's one tank game, why 2 game modes have completely different mechanics. It's just not necessarily that intuitive, and I think it would be so much easier for everyone involved if they just made it a little bit easier in that regard. But that's kind of my opinions, and once again, they're not always right. So on to the topic of collaborations from Wargaming and other companies. Now, we all know that on PC they've recently had the Warhammer collaboration, they've had collaborations with loads of different other companies, and usually the console version end up with toy tanks, G.I. Joe, Hot Wheels, just all of these random like companies that are like, that don't seem to tie up with the actual player base, and everything revolved around that. So I'm hoping Wargaming actually stick to the audience demographic with the collaborations that they do on console, because it seems like they've been so disconnected that console seem to be at the back of the mind when actually deciding what the player base should be. Maybe they thought as a business plan that they could incorporate new young players by introducing Hot Wheels, but I don't know, it just was not a good collaboration, and we ended up tanks with like the Roger Dodger, which is just basically a disgusting weird looking tank that just doesn't suit the actual kind of audience. I don't think anyone wants to ride around with a bright neon tank on console, but there we go. That's just my opinion. I think there's I'm just not entirely sure that I feel all too confident with the next season, what we're going to get, the sort of things that we have to keep an eye out for, the challenges, the rewards, the tanks that we'll get for free, and all of the extras. It would be so much better to get some like kind of progress rewards or something like that. That would be kind of cool. But there you go. Obviously, leave your comments in the comment section down below. As always, you guys are amazing, and your support has been amazing throughout both of the channels that I run surrounding World of Tanks, both PC and console, and also just in general, your support to me as a creator just allows me to be able to do this every single day. And yeah, it's a lot of work coming home from work every day, creating loads of videos, but at the end of the day, I really enjoy it. I love getting the interaction with you guys, seeing what you guys think, and it's been amazing so far. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has watched any of the videos. I do greatly appreciate it, and I think we've reached over 3.5 million total views at this point, which is crazy. Just on the console channel, probably coming up to like 3.75 million at this point, but yeah, it's been a wild roller coaster of panicking and rushing to try and get some videos out, but it's under a lot better of a schedule, and I guess I just wanted to take the last bit of this video to kind of talk about that with you guys, as many of you might be interested, or many of you might not. But other than that, if you're watching it at this point, I thank you so much, and yeah, you guys are awesome. I hope to see you in the next video. If you want to check out any gameplay and tank reviews, as usual, there is the playlist on screen right now with just, at this point, like hundreds of different gameplays and tank reviews, and on the left hand side, the last video we did on the channel. Thank you, and I'll see you there. Goodbye.